Alright guys, so we are out here on the beautiful trails. We actually have a little bit of snow falling down. We got my dad along again on the F1100. I still have the ZR6000, so I get to put a few more miles on it today. This is a little bit of an odd topic to talk about, I guess, when I'm riding with somebody, but even if you're bringing a buddy along, it's still good to bring this stuff along, and definitely it's going to be good to have when you ride by yourself. I would definitely recommend that you not ride by yourself, but I'll be honest, I do it a lot of the time, and I think as long as you're smart about it, you can definitely increase your chance of getting home safely. So the first thing that I think really is going to make a big difference, having a plan and a way to navigate for where you're going, and then communicating that plan to someone else. Now you can do that in a bunch of different ways. If you want to use the old paper map for navigating and maybe send a picture of that to somebody with the loop that you're going to take circled, that's fine. I tend to go a little bit more on the electronic side of those things. I've got the Garmin 60LM up on the dash here. I've got a video that I can show you guys how I mount that if you want to check that out down in the description. If you'll notice, it actually shows where the snowmobile trail is, which is super nice. It actually will also tell me where the ATV trails are and all the public land. And if you're in Wisconsin or Michigan or Minnesota, if you buy this same chip that I've got in here from VV Mapping, you will get that same information in your state. Absolutely love this. Kind of have a hard time riding without it now, to be honest. The GPS is a car GPS. I picked this one up for 40 bucks. I also picked up the two smaller versions for my motorcycles for I think like $25 each, including shipping on eBay. That's a 40LM and a 50LM, and this is, like I said, the 60LM. Highly recommend it. Go check it out. Aside from that, though, I mean, that'll tell me where I'm at, but it's not going to help tell my wife where to send a search party at the end of the day if I don't come home. And I kind of chuckle at that, but it's not really a funny thing. You could definitely end up pinned underneath your sled by yourself somewhere, and if nobody has a way to find you, you might be there a long time and you might not be coming home alive. Definitely something to take very seriously, and something that I think at least gives me a little bit more confidence, which isn't necessarily, I guess, a good thing when you're riding alone. You should be riding slow and taking it easy and planning to get yourself out under your own power. But one thing that, like I said, makes us feel a little bit better is I've got my location shared on Google Maps with both my wife and my mom. Actually, I tried to share it with Jerry, but he doesn't want me to know where he is, so and that's actually simple to do. I'm sure you can Google it, but basically if you go into your Google Maps on your Android device, not really sure about iPhones, I think those have their own kind of track me type thing on the maps, but if you go into that Maps app, and up in the right corner there'll be a little picture of yourself or whatever you use as your Google profile picture. If you click on that, it'll open up a little option menu, and about halfway down there's something that says share location, and then when you click on that, you can pick the amount of time that you're gonna share your location, and then pick a person to either email it or text the link to, and then they'll be able to see where you're at. So one thing you do need to keep in mind with that shared location is that it's only going to work if you have cell reception. Now, if you're on your map out in the middle of the woods in your Maps app and you had already looked at it at home or when you had service or whatever, it will still show you where you are on your own device, just because it kind of caches that information as far as the map, and then it can still kind of figure out where you are, because more than likely if you're in the woods with a clear view of the sky, you still have satellite reception, but in order to transmit data out to somebody else's phone, you need cell reception, which means pinging off of a tower, and that then goes to a satellite, then back to a tower, yada yada, whatever. It doesn't matter. Keep in mind, if you're in the middle of nowhere, you don't have cell reception, people are not going to know where you are. However, what will be helpful is that they'll know where you last had cell reception, and obviously that's not maybe the ideal thing. Having your exact location up to the second would be best, but without buying some sort of Navlink satellite, whatever, I don't know what the names of them are. You can buy stuff like that. I think they're kind of expensive. You got to pay a monthly service. Definitely would be the way to go. I would say if you're going to go into the backcountry, that's definitely what you want. But for the trails around here, I feel okay about just using the Google Maps. What was the next thing? Water. You want to stop for a drink of water?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
All right, I want to stop anyway.
Okay.
So water is going to be important, obviously, to keep yourself hydrated during the normal ride. It's good to actually get a drink of water even before you head out on the trail. I actually had somebody comment and say that, and I've been doing that, making sure I drink a big glass of water before we go out. But on the trail, just under normal riding conditions, it's definitely going to be good to have some water. I carry my Rocky Mountain ATV MC bottle here. I do not know how much this holds, but it's quite a bit of water. And actually, the really nice thing about this is that it is insulated. And now you wouldn't think that would matter out in the cold, because why do you need your water to be cold, right? Well, if you head out in the woods and it's 0 degrees outside, it doesn't matter what the water is in your plastic water bottle. When you stuck it in there when you left, it's going to get down to 0 pretty quick and be frozen solid. And I've definitely been out on the trail with one of those little plastic water bottles that's froze solid, and then that water's not going to help you out at all. I can put an associate link for this down in the description if you guys want to pick it up. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps me out a little bit, and these are actually really reasonably priced. Whew. And if you talk a lot, you need one too.
Yeah, I bet you do. Used to be nice to deer hunting here. Never shot a deer, never saw a deer hardly.
So yeah, I would say definitely get something like this so it will keep your water from freezing up on you. Ready to hit the trails, Jerry?
Mm-hmm. I was ready.
Jerry brought water with him.
I did.
What's water good for? It's good for helps your muscles not cramp up.
For your mind too. Mind, heart, everything.
Definitely important to stay hydrated.
Yes, yes, yes.
Got my sled stuck a couple times and had to kind of dig it out on my own, and was always really thankful that I had that water along. And it might seem like something simple that if you don't bring it, whatever, you don't need it, but until you get in a situation like that, you don't realize how important it really is. And that kind of leads me nicely into the next thing here, and that is make sure you bring recovery equipment. If you're going to be by yourself, just a shovel to dig yourself out. I will be honest, I don't actually have one right now. I've got one that should be on the way, and I can put a link for the one that I've got down in the description. It's super cheap. It's not a special snowmobile one. It's a little foldable one that's also from Rocky Mountain. They will, again, send me a little bit my way if you use the link. So I definitely appreciate that. And if you just want to go find it and not use my link, that's cool too. Aside from that, something that would be good to have if you are lucky enough to have somebody come along when your sled is either stuck or broke down is a rope. And I think I'm actually going to start carrying maybe a ratchet strap. I've never done this myself, but I think I've been told by you guys that a ratchet strap can kind of work like a little mini come along. And obviously you're not going to be ratcheting yourself along a football field or anything, but if all you need is maybe a foot or two before you're free, that might really make a big difference to be able to just ratchet your way out rather than try to yank the sled out. That, for me anyway, does not go so well for my back. And of course, just something to pull yourself along if, say, your belt blows. And that kind of leads me into my next point here, the importance of not only bringing a belt and the tools along to change it, but actually being able to change the belt without having to look up how to do it in a manual. And I know on the older sleds it can be really easy, but on these sleds it's actually kind of complicated. And I think having, like I said, the right tools, but also some practice under your belt, so when you're not in ideal conditions, like say out in the woods in the dark by yourself, you are able to do that without being able to see very well. And of course, the next one we're leading into here. See how these all lead into each other, Jerry?
No, I'm a nice man.
I planned this out. So the next thing is not just a flashlight, but a headlamp. I've been, like I said, stuck out in the woods. Luckily, I had somebody with me to hold the flashlight, but all I had was a flashlight. And you'd think, of course, flashlight's important to have along in case you get stuck in the dark. You can look down into your motorways and see what's in there. But if you need both your hands for changing a belt, a headlamp is absolutely, at times I think the only way you're going to be able to get that belt changed, unless you want to hold a cold flashlight in your mouth for 20 minutes while you fumble around with freezing hands. Yet again, that will lead us into our next point, and that is bring another set of gloves along. So obviously if you get your hands wet, it would be nice to have a big set of just a spare set of winter gloves for riding, and I think that's definitely important. But something that I've ran into a couple times already. Look at all these trees down. That must have been from the damage this year, huh?
I guess so, yeah, that's crazy.
This wasn't like this last year at all. One thing that I've noticed is that when it's super cold out and I'm out trying to make adjustments or whatever, your hands get to a point where they almost can't even warm up again if you're touching cold metal and cold wet metal at times. So having a set of work gloves along, you know, even if you're making adjustments is great, but obviously if something goes wrong and it's, you know, below 0 Fahrenheit, whatever that would be in Celsius, if it's really, really, really cold out, it's going to make a huge difference to have something between your skin and that really, really cold metal or snow. So I would say definitely pack a set or put them in your pocket or whatever. It's not going to add that much weight, and it might just save your fingers from some frostbite. I almost forgot here while I was packing all my junk back up in the bag after taking the thumbnail with the belt. I've been bringing this thing along, and this is actually the reason you guys may or may not have seen the little disclaimer at the beginning, that paid promotion or whatever. These guys sent me this. It's a power pack with a flashlight on it, and it's got the 2 USB plugs on it, but then it's also got this thing you can plug into it, and then you can jump your sled. Now on this one, the 2-stroke, we've got the ripcord here, but on the F1100, this would definitely be something that would get me home, where I would just be stuck staring at a electric start button with no way to get it to go. So I can put a link for this down in the description too if you guys want to pick it up. I've not had to use it on a sled yet, thankfully, but I did actually use it on my 4-wheeler twice now. It's been a little bit too cold, and apparently the battery can't quite handle it, so this has been awesome. So nice to be able to just pick that up and walk outside with it rather than having to plug a big old battery charger in to jump it. So this again might seem kind of silly, but I think can be really important. Definitely keeping a positive outlook no matter what happens is, I mean, really can be the difference between life and death. And I mean, you know, obviously on most snowmobile trips that's not really going to be too big of an issue, but you know, stuff can go wrong when you're out here, and if you're by yourself, I mean, it can get kind of scary. And I think just having a positive attitude will, you know, help you think straighter. Again, drinking that water, making sure you're hydrated. Bringing some food along isn't a bad idea either. Water's definitely most important, but just you know, bringing this stuff along to kind of help you out is going to be important, but it's not really going to get you too far if you don't stay positive and believe that you're going to be able to get yourself out of the situation no matter what. And I think that's important for any situation in life. So hopefully this stuff has been helpful to you guys. If there's anything that I missed or that you can think of that would also be good to bring along or to do, make sure to let me know down in the comment box below, and let me know what you think of the stuff that I came up with anyway. Whoa! Yikes. That's not good.
What's not good?
Oh, there's a tree stuck all the way across the trail there.
The branch?
Well, just a bunch of branches, yeah.
Oh, here, okay.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do a good deed quick. I'll throw some of that off to the side.
I'll watch.
Alright, sounds good. Is that part of a tree or is it just a rock? I think it is part of a tree. Alright guys, so like I said, hopefully this was all helpful, informative. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, don't be afraid to give it a like. Let me know down in the comment box below. Get out, enjoy these beautiful trails while you still can. Other than that, take care, stay safe, stay swanky. And hey, if you can't, check out some more videos up at the top. Ugh. There. A little better anyway. Ah.